Hi, we're the Burrs and welcome to the casting couch.
No, we just thought we would do a video. It's probably a little bit easier than writing everything down. And also, there's some things, I mean, I've been doing all the writing at this point, but there's things that Shannon experienced before I arrived, so I thought it might be best for us to do a bit of a joint video just to run through the last couple of days here in Houston.
Yep, just a recap of the last couple of days. So I turned up here on, what night was it? Friday night. Sarah was still in Dallas, and at that time, she was still a couple of days from getting here, as far as we knew. We were hoping she'd make finals. But the first night we got here, had no idea what to experience. I got out of the Uber, walked into this beautiful little home. We were very happy with where we're staying, and it's in a really quiet, nice neighborhood. We walked inside. Basically, the kids were really hungry and tired, so I quickly shot around to the shop and just grabbed some takeout. Got back, and the kids were pretty much asleep straight away. I was in the shower and I could hear a loud banging, and it almost sounded like the whole house was shaking. So as I got out of the shower, I realised the banging was still going on. So just wearing a towel, I went to the window and had a quick look out, and I could see a man with a sledgehammer in the backyard, like hitting the house. And we're in the upstairs unit, and there's a flat downstairs. I woke up Benji and I said, Benji, take my phone, ring 911 if you hear me screaming. So in my towel, I decided to run downstairs and confront this man with a sledgehammer. I hear a smash and realise he's breaking a window. I get downstairs, and the little old lady who lives downstairs says to me, oh, please, there's nothing going on. I locked my keys inside and we had to break in. So after a mild heart attack and being in my towel, I walked back upstairs and let Benji know that there was nothing to be afraid of.
So was the man a neighbour or something?
The man was from across the road, yeah. So that was the first experience, the first night.
So then the following night is when I arrived. So Shannon very kindly made us a yummy dinner. He's quite the house husband, I must say. We basically just crashed out till, I think it was like 8. I think we woke up at 8. The kids didn't wake up till 10 a.m, which is unheard of for our family.
Yeah.
And then we basically went on the hunt for some courts. And we thought the best stop to begin with would be where the tournament's being held here in Houston. So we went down to that facility, and we were pretty disheartened when we saw that they were all just tennis courts. And then we spoke to the manager there, and we explained why we were there, and he basically made it very clear that he does not like pickleball. Oh, you're here to play that noisy sport?
So when we turned up, the first thing he said was, are you pickleballers? And we said yes, and he said, you're not welcome here. And I wasn't sure if he was joking. I thought it was just a joke, but the expression on his face said otherwise. And he basically said that we weren't welcome at the courts until the tournament started. So he said it's too noisy for the tennis players to deal with. So that was an interesting experience. By this point, we'd spent probably best part of maybe $100 to be able to get to the courts.
We did stop off at another facility on the way, some community courts that we'd found just on Google, but when we got there, there was an old tennis court. Again, no nets, no lines, so that was 2 Uber rides just to get there, and then we had to get back to where we were staying as well. So we're a little bit disheartened at that point, just wondering where we would be able to practice here in Houston before the tournament. Yeah. Yep. But having said that, we did find a really cool pumpkin patch on the way. They were selling pumpkins to carve, getting ready for Halloween. So that was a lot of fun. We did spend a bit of time there. Yep. Looking through all the cool pumpkins and mucked around with the kids and played some basketball, which was fun.
Took Benji down to the local hoop, and there's quite a few really good young kids down there. And there was one kid about Benji's size. I'd say he's a bit older, but about Benji's size, and he was really good. And he had a one-on-one with Benji, and unfortunately Benji didn't get any points, but he played really well. But the other kid was just amazing, and I think it's going to be really good for Benji if we ever do get the chance to stay here for a longer period of time to experience that and have that sort of training and better people to play with, much like what we're hoping for Sarah. So No offense to anyone back home.
But another cool thing that happened is that I did have a Zoom meeting with Austin Gridley, my mixed doubles partner, for this coming weekend. So we basically went through my footage of my match play from the PPA tournament on the weekend. So my mixed doubles match with Warren against Tyson McGuffin and Leah Jansen. So we went through that point by point, had a bit of a discussion, the positives, the negatives, my strengths, and then he sort of let me know what his strengths are and things like that. And we also looked through my women's doubles match against Jessie Irvin and Leah Jansen. So that was just a really good opportunity to have a chat with him because we haven't met or even spoken at this point. So yeah, I really like that time. He's obviously very knowledgeable and I'm really looking forward to playing with him this weekend, which will be good. So that was basically everything that we did yesterday. And then today we decided to bite the bullet and hire a car. We had to do a fair bit of research, and we did think that the best option for us in terms of budget was probably Turo, the app. So it's Turo, and it's kind of like, how do you describe it?
I guess it's like an Uber, but for renting cars, or more like a.
So it's someone's own car. You're renting their car off them, so it's not really going through a rental car like company like Avis or whatever. It's someone's own car, and you arrange to pick it up from either their address or they'll drop their car to you.
Yep. And
it's obviously a fair bit cheaper than a rental car.
Or Airbnb for your vehicle.
Yeah, that's probably a good way of putting it. So we found a nice little Hyundai Accent or whatever it is, and we had to get a lift or an Uber out to this person's house to pick up the car because they weren't able to drop it off to us. Had quite an interesting Uber ride out to pick up the car. Our driver was saying, what are you doing out this way? And I wouldn't normally come out this way, and this is the hood, and this is
She basically told us that if she didn't have to drop us there, she would definitely not go into that part of town. And when we got there, we could see why. It was pretty run down. You could definitely see it was like the very low socioeconomic part of town. It was a bit scary actually when she was saying that. I could see Sarah was definitely tense. I know I was tense. She basically said that as soon as she was going to let us out of the car, she'd be taking off because she didn't want us stick in that hood. So
and she told us to get out of there.
She told us to get out of there as quick as we could. So that was interesting.
And also, when we were telling it, she said, "Why are you coming out here?" And we said, "Oh, we're picking up a car." And she's like, "You're going to drive? You're going to drive around here?" And then she was saying, "Are you going to go on the freeway? Don't go on the freeway. You'll die on the freeway. Don't go on the freeway." So then she felt really bad. She's like, "Oh my God, I've scared you guys. I've told you not to come out here. I've told you you're going to die if you drive."
I think she could see by the look on our faces that we'd changed a lot since she picked us up. So
that was pretty funny. Yeah. But we finally picked up the car. I'm definitely not driving here, so that was all on Shan.
The freeways are actually the best part because you just follow another car. But when there's no markings on the road for stop signs, you sort of having to be very aware of everything around you. It's definitely not like driving at home, but it's not too bad. So we made our way out to Parlour Pickleball.
No, we went to Target first before we went to Parlour.
Sorry. So on the way to being invited to a place called Parlour Pickleball, we decided we'd stop off at Target because we've had an issue with not having an electrical plug to suit from the Australian plugs to the American style. We thought we had one with us, but we didn't. And everywhere we've been does not have any in stock. So we thought we'd just try Target while we were passing. I pulled into the car park. Sarah went in. There was no luck there. But when she came out, I tried to start the car and there was absolutely no starting. So we had to call the guy who owned the car. He basically had to come out and jump start us. So that was quite an experience, just being worried about not knowing if we had a car or not, and being stuck in somewhere we have no idea where we were.
And also being late for our invite to this new Parlour Pickle as well. We felt a little bit bad letting down the owner and the nice people who had invited us along.
But what an experience that was, like going to an indoor centre. It was kind of, I guess, 3/4 finished. like they hadn't quite finished all the courts yet. It hadn't really been sign written, but the courts inside were so fantastic. You know, real good quality. The surfaces were great. The nets are fantastic.
Oh, the surface is super grippy. Like
Super
really,
gritty.
Lots of grit. Like
Yeah.
they're painted, but really grippy.
So Sarah's spin serves had even more kick simply because the ball was hitting the gritty surface and just bouncing away. It was pretty annoying.
Yeah.
But we met some really amazing people there. In particular, one guy named John Binns. He was kind enough, he works at the local supermarket, and he was kind enough to give us a card that basically gives us a discount to the store. It was his own personal card. And at this point in time, because this trip, we saved money for this trip, and when it came time to come here, we realised how much the Australian dollar had dropped in value. So it almost doubled what we thought this trip was going to cost us. Little things like that have made a massive difference. You know, we've really been skimping on what we're eating. We're trying to make sure we make all our dinners. Even the takeaway restaurants here end up being very expensive by the time you work it out in the Australian dollar. So we're just doing what we can. We're buying pizzas and stuff to feed the whole family. It's been good, but I really think that if it wasn't for the people at home who've given us money or put towards this trip, you know, to try and help out, to try and help us with our dream, we'd probably be really struggling, to be honest. So I just want to say a big thank you to everyone at home who's helped out, not just financially, but also like supporting us by letting other people know, you know, that we're fundraising. So big shout out to you guys. Thank you.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you very much. Every little bit has helped, that's for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, so what else we got?
I think that's the main things. Yeah, just like you said, it was so nice to go out to that facility, just the people. Like we played some rec games, to meet the owner, Giamo, and Romy, who that all just came about from being on Facebook, just reaching out on Facebook to the Houston Pickleball and just asking for help. We just were stuck. We didn't know where to go for courts, so I just reached out online, and we were just inundated with people suggesting different courts, but that was the main one that came up was the Parlour Pickle, and the other one I kept calling it what did I call it? The Prickle Dickle, but it's actually called the Bumpy Pickle.
The Bumpy Pickle.
That's another location, so we're going to go and check that out tomorrow with some of the lovely people we met today. We're going to meet them out there at the Bumpy Pickle. That's an outdoor facility, but it's supposed to be really good as well in the area. And then we've got also plans to meet up with a local pro tomorrow night for a hit at a different court on the southeast side, I think, of Houston. So we're looking forward to that. But yeah, it's been really lovely. Like just the support, like you said, from home, and then the lovely people we're meeting along the way, and how everyone just seems to be happy to help, whether it's just with suggestions or it's really awesome.
I think, to be honest, I think having that common interest with pickleball has really helped our cause. A lot of people, once they find out you love pickleball and they meet you and they know you're from out of town and you know they know what you're here for, they're just so keen to help. I've just found everyone we've met who we've told our situation, what we're here for, just wants to get on board and help us out, and we're just so appreciative of it. We've got a couple of people lined up to actually give us places to stay while we're traveling around the country, which is just such a big help, It's,
that's a massive expense as accommodation.
A massive expense,
Really appreciate even a night here or there that people have offered has just been awesome. Like really appreciate that. Yep. I think that's about it for now.
That's about it. We'll keep you updated for the rest of our trip, and if there's quite a few videos we've been putting on Instagram and
like
Facebook.
Short things,
just some short videos about what we've been seeing, and so you can obviously follow Sarah on Sarah Burr, Sarah_Burr_Pickleball. No,
I forget.
I'm sorry. Just look up Sarah Burr on Instagram and on Facebook. Follow it that way.
All right, we'll see you all soon.
looking forward to seeing everyone back home soon.
Bye. Please tell me that was recording.